So, you finally got all of your smart home gadgets and gizmos set up and working like a fine-tuned machine. But now you have to move. If that makes you feel like you might have a heart attack, take a deep breath. I recently moved and I had to move all of my smart home devices from my old home to my new home. And I was pleasantly surprised that it was not the nightmare that I expected. So in this video, I'm going to break down what I think the big secret is to a successful smart gadget move, tips to avoid common problems, and what to consider if you have to leave some of your smart devices behind. Today, we're going to start right out the gate with the big payoff. I'm giving you my big secret to a successful smart home move right now. It's as simple as using the same router and network name. It might sound too simple, but when I unplugged all of my smart plugs, smart speakers, smart light bulbs, and cameras and reboxed them for the move, I dreaded having to start over. As a device tester, I often have to set up devices and then unset them up, reset them to their factory settings, and then often set them up again. The process can get tricky and aggravating. I was afraid that this move was going to be similar, but I was happily surprised. When I got into my new home and started breaking into those boxes and plugging my devices back in, I was thrilled to discover that they all recognized the network and automatically reconnected themselves. They really are smart. It was too easy. So the only conclusion I can draw from that experience is that using the same router, network name, and password, but only if it's a solid secure password, is the key to making it easy for my collection of smart gadgets to recognize that network and get right back online. Unfortunately, everything can't always be that easy. So if you have a more complicated setup than I do, or if you're setting up a new home Wi-Fi network as a result of your move, here are some extra tips to help you avoid common pitfalls that come up when you move your smart home devices. Make a list. If you've got your setup where you want it, the easiest way to replicate it in your new digs is to get yourself organized. Make a list of all your smart home devices, including their names, their passwords, their location, and what else they're connected to, whether it's a smart hub or just simply the home network. This will give you a full inventory of your smart home setup, and it also kind of creates a little map for you that makes it easy to recreate in your new space. And one note, when I say the name of the device, I don't mean the name on the box. I mean the name you gave it when you set it up. So if you called it, Aunt Fanny's silly speaker, make sure that's what you name it in your inventory list. Next, make a plan. Now that you have your inventory and map, it's time to plan. I like to use a checklist because that way I don't miss any important steps. So first, you're going to need to unpair and reset your devices. If you need to connect your devices to a brand new smart hub, a security system hub, or a home network, you're going to need to unpair them from the old network, especially if you're taking that same router. So this defeats the purpose of doing it the easy way, but it's still an important step. Some devices might also require you to reset the device to the factory settings before you're able to pair it to a new hub or network. This is getting more and more rare, so hopefully if your smart devices are new enough and your firmware and everything is updated, you won't need to take this extra step. Next, box and label the devices for the room and floor, if that's applicable, that they belong to. This is going to make everything so much simpler when you go to set things up again. Getting the right smart plug in the right room on the right floor means that you won't have to rename or repair anything if you connect them all to a smart hub or speaker like I do. Next, you want to set up your hubs first. Once everything is ready to be reconnected, you're going to save yourself a lot of headaches by setting up any hub type devices first. For me, it's my Google Home. I make all of my smart gadgets run through the Google Home so that I can boss them around with my voice. Hey Google, turn on the light.
Got it. Turning the light on.
Setting that up first meant that all of my plugs and lights and everything else automatically connected to the Google Home instead of me having to set them each up individually and then going back again and setting it all up with Google Home. It just sort of all connected seamlessly the first time. After you've set up your hub, set up the rest of your devices and go room by room. I think you should set everything up room by room and floor by floor with your handy dandy map in hand. It's easy to know which devices go where and make sure that each item is in the room and on the floor that it belongs to. I have 2 floors and 2 Google Homes, so I made sure that I set up the Google Home that runs each floor first and then went room by room and set up those devices. If you are bummed because you don't think you can use the big secret to make your move a no-brainer, all hope is not lost. You can ask your new internet service provider or installer to use the same network name and password as your old network. So you can just use that name and password again with your new connection. Again, make sure that it is a name and password you haven't given around to everybody and that is complicated enough that it's not easy for hackers to target. This request is usually a simple thing for your installer or your new network provider to help you out with, and it lets you take advantage of the super simple secret to a smooth smart home move. Sometimes there are smart devices that don't move with you. Things like smart locks or thermostats may be easier to just leave behind. And sometimes your new home may already have some of these devices, so you don't really need 2 of them. But here are some quick tips to keep your info and data private if you do have to leave a smart device behind. First, you want to disable your administrative account. Return the device to its factory settings, and if there's a service attached, like home security monitoring, if you have a security system, make sure that you inform the company that provides the service of the move and cancel your account. And that is all you need to do to leave your information protected and detached from the devices you leave behind. And it makes them all ready for the brand new owners or renters to use. Do you have more smart home questions? That's great because we've got answers. The best place to start is in our room-by-room guide to home automation on safewise.com, and that is linked in the description box below. And if you want to stay on top of new smart home product releases, insider tips, plus setup, troubleshooting, and testing demos, make sure you subscribe to this channel and get all of our new videos that are posted here every single week. Well, thanks for running through the smart home move with me, and until next time, stay safe.